to a popular demand, I'm going to make the design table associated with this part. This part was assigned as a homework problem, but it was also given on an exam, just the final exam a few months ago. All right, so keep in mind that there's a plane of symmetry here. The first thing you have to do is create a nominal part where all these things are dimensioned, the ones that we want to control, and also the constraints of holding. So let me go ahead and make something like what you see there. Start with a part file, and I'll do half of it, then I will reflect. So perhaps something like that. Okay, and then I'm going to try to draw those circles. So let me do this circle with this kind of a feature. So right there. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go there, and I'll do another one down here. Okay, I just noticed that this top one is a full circle, so I really should have done a bigger piece. So let me delete this, center it here, and from there we go there, and then we're going to clean it up. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a cleanup, a quick trim. Where's a quick trim? This is a quick trim. I want to get rid of this piece, and over here I want to get rid of this piece. Okay, that sure looks like that for now, and then we're going to put all the dimensions that we want. There is a constraint here. This point should go, the center of this circle must be on that line. Notice that if I move this thing right now, is it happening? Yeah, that's good. So it's already constrained. Otherwise, the center of the circle must be on that line. If not, then you can select this this line, control that center, and you go and make it coincident. Okay, so I think it's already there. But just to be on the safe side, I will make it. So I don't think it matters because that was already holding. And the same thing with the statement here. It says that the center of this circle must be on that edge. Just to make sure that that is in fact the case, I can select this line, control that point. Where's that center? That point, and you make them coincident. Because of the way I constructed this, already they were like that. So, but anyway, so let's see now. Why don't we mirror these things? This, control that, and that, and that. We're going to mirror it with respect to this. Okay. Now notice that we can always check. So if we move this, it behaves as it's supposed to, and these lines always go through that center, and these two lines always go through that center. All right, let's put some dimensions here. Let me see now. The radius of this circle, not that. Okay. The radius of this circle is one of our parameters. Let me see. The radius of the circle is a parameter, is called r, and the bottom one is called rr. So let's also give a radius to this. This is going to be rr later on. I believe that the angle down below is, this angle is called beta, and the other one is called alpha. All right, so let's do that. So dimension between this and that, this is alpha. And the angle between this line and this line is going to be called beta. What else am I missing here? Let's see now. The distance from the center of the circle all the way to that corner point is W. Later on, we're going to call it W. So from that center all the way to this point, this is going to be W later on. What else we have? I think that's it. This is all we got. Of course, L is also a parameter, but we're going to do that later. All right, so exit. We pad it. Where's the pad? Pad it. Okay, good. And now we're going to go and rename these parameters, these dimensions, actually, not parameter. You click on f of x, you click on that part, and the stuff that you want, you're going to select. Like this one, we want it to be beta. Okay, so we're going to rename that. I select it from the screen, and this is going to be beta. And right now the value is 100 degrees. That's fine. And this one is going to be our alpha. And I think this is what we call W. That distance from the center of the circle to that corner point was called W. W. What else we have here? W was this, okay, and then we have R and RR. So this radius, this is going to be R. We're going to rename them as R. Apply. And this bottom one is going to be RR. RR. Okay. Oh yeah, and then the padded distance, this pad, which is ordinarily 0.787. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, but actually I doubled it up. Right now, this is going to be my W. Not WL. Apply. Okay, that's fairly straightforward. So then we're going to click on the design table here. Obviously, we want to create our design table. We don't have one that's already made. And we always use the vertical. So we go here. It says, what are the things that you want to put in your design table? So let's do the rename parameter. All of these things in the order. I'm not sure how this order was. Well, right now, okay, so you want the part name. Okay, alpha, beta, R. Okay, alpha, beta, R, R and R. Alpha, first column, beta, second column, R, third column, R, fourth column. I believe that W was the fifth one, and this is going to be the sixth column. All right. Just give it a minute. It says, where do you want to put it? Well, I want to put it on my desktop. Wherever that folder is that you're creating your part, obviously you create your part somewhere. So right now I'm going to put it on the desktop. Okay, so these are created, except that my table, it also has a column which is part number and a material. Okay, so because I did not specify the material, I'm going to close this. Make sure you can get your table showing up in the tree. If not, go find out how we did it in class. So we apply a dummy material to this. Metal, say we make it out of brass. This is just a dummy material. All right. And that's pretty much it. Now I go back to my design table. Remember, don't click on this because it creates the second design table. Double click on the design table in the tree. This is why you should be able to know how to make this thing show up on the trees. Tools, options, I don't know, tools, options, infrastructure, part infrastructure, and then on the display pad, on the display tab, make sure that the parameters and equations are showing. I'm not going to repeat that. Edit table. Okay, so this is my design table, Excel table, but I need the first column, so insert the first column and insert the second column. The first column is going to be my serial number, and the second column is going to be my material. And let's put our stuff that is. So this is the dummy one that we made, and material, whatever it happens to be. I don't know. I think we put brass on it. I'm not sure. really doesn't matter because I'm going to delete this row in a minute anyway. So brass, okay, some dummy material. Okay, and then A001, A002, A003. Okay, so what you need to do is, let me see where that. What you need to do is to put this stuff in the first and second column. I instead of B, I call them A. Okay, so you go ahead and do the right one. So gold, iron, brass. Okay, so this is going to be gold, iron. It must start with uppercase brass, and then put those dimensions that we have in that table. I don't know, what are these? 80, 30, 60, 80, 30, 60. What's the other column? The other column is 110, 150, 110, 110, 150, 110, 110, 150, 110. Oops, yeah, 110. Next column, let's see, 0.5, 0.25, 1.5, 0.5, 0.25, 1.5. There, I got that. 0.5, 0.25, 1.5, and then 2.51, 2.51, and then for W, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and this is the padded length, whatever it happens to be. So let me see now. I have 1, 3, and 0.5. 1, 3.5. This first one is the nominal one that I made. I can delete it, but I'll leave it right now for the time being. So you have to save this thing and you have to exit. Remember, you have to close this before this thing pops up. All right, what it's saying is that, look, it made all the changes except that it doesn't know what to do with serial number on my mat. So serial number, I have to do that myself. I'm going to associate it with the part number, associate serial number, part number, and material, my mat, I'm going to associate it with whatever material we put in there. Associate. Now, if you go back here, okay, so let's see what happens. Obviously, if you say apply, this is the first one. Notice that the part name is dummy, material is brass. If you go to the second one, apply, this is what you get. Serial number is A001, material is gold. Next one, that's the way it is, okay? And this one goes like that. Now, in the event that you want to move these around so that say the part name appears on the top, you go to Association tab, you move this thing all the way to the top, select the material, use the arrow, take it all the way to the top, well, second last. And if you go to the configuration, you see that the first one is a part number and then material, etc., etc. And it's working. Now, if you don't want that first, row because it was my nominal dimension, so I'm going to go to the what was that called? Edit table. The Excel spreadsheet opens up, and you can delete this. You can add things. You can modify things. Remember, save it and close it. Wait for this message to pop up. And notice that that dummy one is gone, and it's basically what we had before. Okay. There. All right. I hope this helps. The only thing you had to be careful was the constraint that I gave you. Make sure that, for example, I had to make sure that the center of the circle was on that line and the center of the circle was on this line.